Alrighty. Hello. This is I'm Doc Hogg with our boy Great Lott and Sim. Sim, thank you for joining us.
Pleasure. Hello, everyone.
Hey.
This is episode 108 of Comics and Variety and Indie Comic Stream number 7. Let me share the screen here for just a second. Yeah, here we go. Okay. Tonight, Jeremy and I are going to be reviewing CyborgUSA issue number 1 and issue number 2 as well. Just to let you know, my comic book Tilt is now funding on Indiegogo. It's been up for just over a week. I'm 35% of the way there, about $23 from 1,100. And things have kind of slowed in the last few days, but I kind of expected that. So it'll pick up eventually. But hey, you know, just over a week and I'm over a third of the way, so can't complain. And then, of course, we are going to be talking in a few minutes to Sim about Bloodhunt, which is still in demand. But from the email I got today, Sim, you are going to be closing this down within hours, correct?
Yes, depending on how long it's going to take for Indiegogo to take it down, but I'm pressing the off button tonight after the Raging Golden Eagle show.
All righty. Well,
it's the final countdown.
Yeah. And we'll stop there because we don't want to get a strike.
All righty. Well, for the first few minutes, the three of us are just going to talk a little bit about the future of the comic book industry. This week, DC said that it would continue with digital, which made a lot of store owners very unhappy. But it's also going to be looking into new methods of distribution, trying to get away from Diamond, I guess, at least for the time being. It looks like Marvel said something similar, but again, neither of those I felt
DC said a number of things. One, it said that all comics that you've gotten in a certain window are fully returnable. That's a good thing. Two, I don't know about the digital thing, but it said we're going to look into other ways of getting these comic books to you.
Okay.
Now there's a reason why some people thought the Diamond pause was a good thing, just because there are so many stores that are having a hard time staying open, and so you can't get people to go into the stores to actually So basically, you have two different types of customers. You have pull box customers who order in advance, and you have browsing customers, right?
Sure.
There is some overlap. Pull box people are also browsers, and often browsers will become pull box customers. But I'm just saying that's generally how it goes.
The way I see it, it's been a known fact since the late 80s, 90s, that Diamond has been I don't know if it was willingly, but people are saying that it's willingly, but they kind of with their model of having the dominion, right, monopole of the comic book local shop and forcing them to buy a certain amount of certain covers and stuff like that, that they have heard the LCS a lot, right?
So it just depends. The Diamond, what happened was Marvel used to have several different distributors, right? You had a couple national distributors and you had regional distributors as well. And then in the 90s, Marvel decided that they were going to buy a distributor named Heroes World. And distribute their own comics. And what ended up happening as a result of that was that Heroes World went under. Marvel had to come crawling back, but by that point, everyone had collapsed, and the only one that was left standing was Diamond.
Yeah, because they didn't just buy the Hero one; they were trying to buy pretty much all of them to have
Well, what happened was that you had a few of the distributors that sold out to Diamond effectively at fire sale prices because they couldn't continue in business anymore. They had a what's it called? They had an antitrust investigation of Diamond for a couple of years, and they did decide that they were not behaving in anti-competitive practices. That they were sort of the de facto monopolist, just because no one else could make it work.
But because of a model that kind of fell stale because of it, it ended up hurting the medium a bit and the LCS.
Sure, yeah. I mean, if you look at
that's what I'm saying. I don't think it's they had an evil plan. I'm just saying that it's something that went in a way that the system the industry needs to adapt to the changes that keep going. Right? It's like right now they're going they're going to go digital. Do we understand that they're probably going to start hitting Indiegogo and Kickstarter pretty soon as a pre-sale type of thing?
Sure. I mean, like, if you look at what's happening with some companies and how they're using, the Kickstarters and Indiegogo as crowdfunders as a way of getting some pre-sales, that's absolutely happening. You're also seeing, people using Patreon that way. It's usually individuals, but there's some companies that are doing that as well. There's definitely, innovation there that's happening. That's good. But I mean, the big thing is just that the number of local comic shops has declined and declined and declined and declined, right? And Diamond, the one thing that Diamond made it very difficult for people to enter, not because you have to hit a minimum order amount, because you have to order several months in advance, because there's a lot of, and no one, even people who are saying that, like, boy, it would be sure nice for Diamond to stick around, still think that they suck. I mean, most everyone doesn't like Diamond. All right.
No.
I'm not even sure Diamond likes Diamond.
Well, keep talking.
That would be a good assessment.
But basically the idea was they suck, but they work tolerably well. They get the comics to dealers. At some point we'll find a way to replace them, but they're the only thing we have for now. And then Diamond, came up against the fact that they weren't seen as a necessary business and weren't able to do what they needed to do to keep going. And they just said, we got to close down for a while here. Now, additionally, what we've heard this week is they're not paying some comic book companies.
I just read that not too long ago. They're not giving the money.
And what Diamond has said is, well, it's because some of the comic book stores couldn't pay us. And that's probably true because everyone's experiencing a cash crunch right now. But crucially, one of the things that Diamond had going for it was that it had exclusive distribution agreements with a lot of these publishers. Those agreements are broken the minute they stop getting the payments in on time. And so, after this starts up again, Diamond will still be distributing comic books, but they will not be distributing them exclusively. DC has said we're looking into alternative arrangements. Marvel hasn't said that. What they've said is that we're going to continue with digital and see what we can do. Dark Horse has said that we are not going to distribute anything digitally that we haven't distributed to comic book stores. Various people are saying various things.
Like Eric Larson put a post not too long ago that they don't think that Image will go full digital. Yeah. But like he stated for himself, like I'm not gonna say it's everybody, but his stance is he'll keep on doing no digital so he can flood the market after with all the books that he's working on since. But not everybody can afford this, especially not indie creators.
Yeah. Right? Well, or especially there, you have a lot of people that both DC and Marvel have told a lot of their people they're working on stuff to stop working. So they're going to be going without, compensation for a while here as well. The whole industry is experiencing just a horrible crunch. I mean, have you ever seen the movie 10 Things I Hate About You?
No.
Okay. At one point, these two guys are trying to get someone to take out this pretty girl's sister so that they can take out the pretty girl, right? One of them can. And they are assessing what's happened, and the kid who really wants to take out this girl says, "We are screwed." And his friend says, "I don't want to hear that. I want an upbeat, positive attitude." And he goes, "We are screwed." That's basically where we're at right now in the comic book industry. Now, we're obviously going to be talking to Sim about his comic, and one of the things that's still happening right now, thank you, Jesus, is that we're able to get some comics out to people through the mail. And I don't know, Doc, do you have any more thoughts about this before we just talk about this comic that the people can get through the mail?
Well, my only wonder is, DC said they were going to continue with digital. Marvel said they wouldn't be sending out any after April 1. I just wonder, a lot of store owners are not happy with that. I do wonder, though, I mean, how many, even if people, some people at least, do. I guess what they're worried about is that a lot of people who go to the comic book shop right now will, once they start getting them digitally, will say, "Yeah, why bother going back?" I kind of doubt that's going to happen very
Digital
much.
is a minuscule part of the market.
Yeah, but the worry,
most still like to have the physical copy of it. Yeah.
Yes, it is. It is, and you're right. And the worry is, though, it will be go from minuscule to much bigger, and the comic book stores will suffer. I'm skeptical because one, like you say, it is minuscule, and it's been that way for a long time because people like to have the physical copy, and one reason people like to have the physical copy is because comic book is a culture of collectors, right? They get the I want to say, the wrappers and the backboards. I don't have those terms right. I'm sorry. But there you go.
Bag right here.
There you go. So, I kind of see their point. And I'm sure, some of them are making it because they're just, they are really screwed right now. But I don't think that's what's going to be ultimately the thing to bring down the
May I bring up
comic
2
book
points?
stores.
The fact that going digital with the entire indie movement, seeing like how there's a lot of campaigns in CG and non-CG, right? And there's so many books that you want to buy, but you can't buy them all, right? So a lot of people will go like, "Well, I'll buy the digital if they have one like that." I'll save a bit of money like that. I can back like 2 projects instead of one.
Yeah.
I really, 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 really despise digital. Like if I buy a digital, I have to really want to read it. Otherwise it's just going to be on my computer.
Yeah.
Okay. But right now, my way of seeing it is more like it's a tester for people to take a chance on you.
Yeah. Well, I like it. I like it simply because, we review a lot of indie comics, and it's going to get very expensive very fast if there isn't lower priced digital options. Now, that said, I much prefer having the physical copy. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I've noticed is the higher up you get in the pecking order, so to speak, most of them don't have digital. I mean, Wrecked Planet. I didn't see a digital there.
They have a reputation on it. That's the thing. Is that
well, there you go. But once you get a reputation, you don't need the digital.
And the second point that I want to bring up with the DC thing, right? It's the fact that, do you guys remember that Marvel are talking about doing the same thing now? But it's been since the get-go. What's the name? DC Universe Online. No, that's the game. Their streaming thing.
Yeah.
That when you're sub to it, there's a tier where you can have access to all those digital comics, the new ones coming out constantly. I'm thinking that's what they're really gonna be pushing. Like, go sub to our thing, you get our shows, you get our movies, and you get our comics.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's the legit thing to do. But if you look at, to give you a really great example, Amazon, right? They've got comics for sale on Amazon, and anyone can buy them all over the world, etc. And it takes a shockingly small number of comics sold digitally to like 100 or maybe 200 to crack like the top 5 sometimes in Amazon. Like it's not. Just telling you, it's a really, really, really small market.
Yeah.
That's not true of manga, by the way. Like there's a huge manga digital market, but in when it comes to sort of American style comics, there really isn't a huge demand at this point.
And right now,
for digital.
Now, to bring a point that you just brought up, just to push on it. Right now, manga, they still sell as many freaking physical copies right now, right? And they all opened up their Shonen Jump and everything. Like everything now is on subscription. You can get access to digital, and they still sell as many copies, physical copies.
Oh yeah. Well, if you look at the sales of manga, I mean, it dwarfs anything that you see in American comic books. Yep. I mean, it's crazy.
Over there, it's everywhere. It's like it's.
I mean, it's very a thing to envy. It is. So, anyways, all right. So
why don't we move on to Why don't we move on to why don't we talk about Bloodhunt here? So hang on just a second here. All righty. Why don't you tell us, start with this cover here, which tell us about the cover and tell us just a little bit about the plot, if you don't mind.
The cover here is illustrate pretty much what the series is, right? Like and it's an homage to Trigon, Vache de Stampede, the pose that he has with the two guns there. Like it's kind of one of his poses that Vache de Stampede is known for. So it was kind of my little wink, and it's an exclusive. Like it's only for this campaign, right?
Okay.
And one of the things that Kyle came in and gave me that little pointer of the ambient light putting blue in front, so he helped me out. He gave me a few advice on, tweaking.
Oh, okay.
On it.
I see. Nice.
And the overall story is you start a story, and it's a high T assassin, right? Like a bit like John Wick. Like he's known internationally. Like he's one of the best hitmen there is, right? He's known worldwide as the Reaper. And right now he's working for a family called the Venditti, right? And he's secretly dating his boss's daughter.
Uh-oh.
So one day he gets asked as a favor to the family to go kill an old man in his sleep, right? As a job. So he's kind of forced of taking it. So he goes, and he's not very happy because he complains because it's beneath him. He's like, "Come on, dude, I've killed a lot of people, and So he gets there, and the old man ends up that he was sent there to die, and the old man is an ancient vampire that predates mankind. So knowing he's not a weakling, so he puts up a fight. Won't tell you how that ends up, but he ends up being turned into a vampire.
I see.
And we're not talking about the little infectious vampires. We're talking about Dracula, the Beast, old predating mankind type of vampire.
Okay.
So, crosses don't do nothing to them. Holy water neither. They don't like the sun, right? So then when he gets turned, that's when he discovers that there was a magical veil around him, that there's a whole bunch of supernatural creatures and vampires living in that same world, and that before he would not see them. And that's what he discovers on this path to vengeance, because he wants vengeance for the guy that.
So what's going on in this page here?
Well, if you go to the page that was before it, that's right after he gets turned, and you see him walking in the street.
Well,
yeah. That's how I'm going to explain it. You see him walking down the street holding his belly. He's like, he's feeling the hunger, the pain. And then he starts noticing like a human walking a poodle. And then when he gets close, he looks like a demon with a demon dog. Like a bum that looks like a gargoyle. And then he turns the corner. And then he sees that beautiful woman. And all his senses go into fire. And he loses it, doesn't remember nothing. He wakes up there. He's already killed her, fell on her, and realizes that that he lost control, that he needs to, get this shit under control. He can't just. And then after that, he goes on walking away, and that's when he meets other vampires, other type of vampires in the alley. And he faces them, and that's when he discovers that when he feeds off of supernatural creatures and vampires, he gains their memories and abilities and agilities. And he refuses to feed off of human, and like I'm telling you, he's not a vampire killer. That I want to make clear. He is a monster for hire. So he's not Blade. He doesn't go and killing vampires and stuff. He's just a monster for hire. He's an assassin.
I see. Okay. All right. Kind of what's going on this page here?
This is where after he killed the lady, he walks away and he gets attacked because he just hunted on their turf. So it's kind of like there's rules to that side of the the world.
You gotta have rules for a fang fight.
You have to have rules to prey on somebody and feed, and they were it's their turf, and they were gonna take her.
Now is I assume he's able to bring his assassin skills to this more supernatural world, and I assume these other creatures don't have those same skills. So is that okay? So that's gonna play out interesting.
And,
okay.
You go from a guy that just barely turned, and you learning his way through it, and then learn. The book is called Bloodhunt because the person he killed is part of he's an ancient vampire, and he's part of the High Council. And within his blood, there was information and power that nobody else has.
I see. I see.
And
Okay.
that's as you go along, he learns and he goes into it, and at the end, you get a pretty good sense of what he can do.
All righty. Okay, let me. Well, let's just go through some of your perks here. Give me just a second.
You even see him facing 2 werewolves, which are 2 backers that bought the be a werewolf tier.
Okay.
All right.
If you want, I'll show you that page.
Hello, Edward Hale. And yeah, let me share screen now again. And okay, and all righty. Okay, so all in, which is
all in, you get 2 books, and you get the colored cover, and you get the variant wraparound black and white, black and red cover, which is only for this. Yeah, 2 covers only for this campaign, and I'm not reprinting them after.
Gotcha. Okay, you're gonna Bloodhunt digital. Okay.
Yeah, and the variant, I just want to mention I'm putting a lot of like promoters in there, little winks. You're gonna have Tug in the background, Dead and stuff. A whole bunch of little winks to people that really, really promoted Bloodhunt.
Very cool. Very cool. Okay, so digital signed.
You have the signed copy. That's 1 copy of the book signed. Yep.
Okay, and with just a standard cover.
And the standard cover, and you get the sticker with it. And the sticker is the one that if you look in the updates, you're gonna see the 6 a.m. one.
Now you've managed to raise $8,300, and I guess you have without even selling any original art. I mean, I'm sorry you haven't sold any original art.
Yeah, but those are new tiers.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, because I'm going to say you made $8,300 without selling. Well, I mean, you still did it without even having these tiers. So
I had 2 tiers.
You sold 1 piece of art.
Yeah, I had 2 $400 tiers to be a werewolf. I did sell another original one, but those are all when I went in demand, a lot of the tiers left, and I replaced them by other things because to keep like the digital. I did sell some digital, but if you were getting to it, the campaign was live. It was 15, and now I put it back at 20.
Gotcha.
It's, a little incentive to get in during the funding. And
oh, very good, very good. Okay. Tell us. Last thing. Tell us a little bit about just everything. What advice would you give to someone running a campaign? Kind of getting out there for the first time. What are some things you need to do?
No problem. If you want, I'm sharing my screen just to show you a little thing from Bloodhunt.
Okay. Let's see here. There we go.
Those are the 2 backers turning into werewolves and about to face Vincent.
Ah, nice.
Nice.
So no spoilers, but you get to see that the backers are there and they get turned.
Yeah, in Movie Man, there are a couple of cops in there, and I saw people. There was a tier called "You Are the Police," and so there are a couple of guys that bought into that one.
Very cool. Yeah, my best advice would be visibility is the key. Okay, so you need to be promoting your book way before, like 6 months would be a good idea, right? If you can, even more before you even consider launching your campaign. 2, be on YouTube medias and don't be selfish. Promote others because people. I'm sorry, but people do pay attention. People look, and if you only think about promoting yourself, people won't get behind you and promote your stuff, especially those type of big promoters, unless they really like your project. I'd say that those are 3 big things to keep in mind. Is like it's like grabbing an oar, like they say, it's like you go in, you promote your book and you promote other brothers, other people that do indie comics. You may not be interested, like Tilt may not be for me. Right, but I might share it, and some of my friends might go, "Oh, that's fucking great!" Because I do have friends that are way into poker. Get my drift, and that's much, yeah. And promote. Keep it simple, stupid. Everybody applies the KISS in business.
Yeah.
So try not to put too much try to put value in your tiers that won't cost you extra production or extra money in making them. Try and keep them realistic. Like, I like to show sketch cards or stuff that doesn't cost you that much to add to somebody's tier and could fit in one of the mailers that you'll ship your book with. I think that's a great idea. Make sure that when you start your campaign, your amount is an amount that you're safe to at least fulfill if that's the minimum you're going to get, because we never know what happens, right?
Yeah.
And keep in mind that a lot of people don't know that the shipping is calculated in that amount. So you have to keep that in mind when you calculate how much you need. Because if you ask for $20 and then $20 shipping, right?
Yeah, you have a pretty high shipping on your comic, and then I looked at where you were shipping from. I'm like, oh, never mind.
Yeah, I'm not that high. It's costing me $25 to ship it to the States, and I'm charging you guys $20 for the single issue.
Yeah, no, I just understand that it costs a lot to send this stuff from Canada.
Yeah. And I apologize for it, but I'm working hard to try to find a way around it. So so we could try and do 10 in the US and 15 in the States.
Well, Montreal is
only.
What I mean? Montreal is only about 8 hours for the border. You can just take it all across and ship it.
The worst thing is
not these days.
They'll charge me the taxes on it while crossing it. Before I could, before 9/11, it would just cost me an extra $2 to send something to you. Yeah. Compared to here, right now it's costing me more to send you something than the fucking UK and France.
Wow.
Yeah. No, it's gotten crazy expensive. Yeah. In Canada Post,
I'm sorry.
No offense, Canada Post sucks.
You can. I don't. I've got. That's why I got the headphones on. So.
Yeah, but I'm aware that not every channel.
Yeah, we can swear. Doc can't.
No, I'm. That is very true. I cannot. But he's in the bathroom right now. So.
Okay. All right. Yeah. What can I just throw you an oddball question here?
Yeah, go ahead.
To what extent did Canada influence your comic?
Not much. Okay. No, I had to take a time. No, not at all, dude. I look. I'm French Canadian, right?
Yeah.
I'm from Quebec, Montreal.
Okay, well, okay. To what extent did Quebec or Montreal?
I don't read any. No, but that's what I'm saying. I don't read anything that was made here. I don't even like Captain Canuck. Okay. I used to read American comics. My biggest influence are American comics, European comics, and manga. I'm a big guy from Heavy Metal magazine. I love those guys.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Jeremy, people from French Canadians don't like the rest of Canada.
But I thought you'd say,
and it's interesting. I mean, Montreal is a lot like Portland, but without all the insanity. I really liked Montreal when I was there about a year and a half ago. It's nice. So,
thanks.
Oh yeah. Oh, it was very interesting though.
Just turning into that shit show with the Trudeau in charge.
Yeah.
There's that.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, it didn't influence me that much. I'm really more influenced by the European and manga and American comics. That's what I used to really read a lot, like Meta Baron, Frank Miller, and Simon Bisley, Juan Jimenez. What's his name? Alejandro Jodorowsky. Yeah, those are the type of people that I really, really influenced me. The UK invasion that you guys called in the States, Simon Bisley and all those guys.
Yeah,
I'm a big amalgam of all this, and that's why I try to do right now. Bloodhunt is like me trying to do an anime. It's me trying to do my own manga style.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That's why if when you look at it, you'll see that there's a lot. It's like a bit of animation in it.
Yeah, I
try to keep it animated. So
and a lot of it's in black and white, right?
Yep.
Yeah. And that's a big thing in manga. I mean, most of that's not colored.
And one thing that I wanted to do, I took it off for now because I didn't think I was going to get it. But if I reach 15K, I think, I was going to make it black and red.
Okay.
So, all black and white, but all the blood and red.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did Trixie Kane do that, Blood Reaper?
They did it on the cover. I'm trying to remember if it was
That's
inside.
right. No, I don't think they did do it on the inside. Yeah.
I'd have to look again.
It's something that was on my first campaign, like the first campaign I launched like last year.
Yeah.
Because that's my second campaign. The first one was a failure.
Mhm.
I was asking for a bit more money because I was starting with one black and white cover, right?
Mhm.
And then going to full color. No, I had one black and white, one color, and if I was getting a stretch goal, the black and white became a black and red, and the full color edition was getting like extra pages and stuff. So I had like two different printing. So I had to ask for a minimum of 5K, right?
Yeah.
To actually assure that I could print two different orders of book.
Yeah.
And then when that failed, because I thought that maybe it was a bit too complicated as a campaign, let's just lay it down. I'll do the campaign just by itself in black and white with the possibility of getting the black and red.
Okay.
And if people are asking a lot, hey, that thing was great. We missed it. We want it. Maybe I'll do another campaign, right?
Yeah.
For either if I didn't make the black and red, do a black and red or a full color edition.
Oh yeah, we should ask maybe Doc knows this, but is this a standalone thing or is there more to come after this?
I try to work my books that one, especially that one, as a one shot. Okay. But there's 2 sequels that I have planned. Okay. So it's a self-contained story. You're not leaving in a big cliffhanger, but you're leaving. There might be like a movie. That's how I approach them. You got the full story. And the next one is I hope there's a sequel. I want to know what happens next.
It's like Jaws, there can always be another shark. But how many times you kill him? Didn't that guy know he was his brother?
We're gonna need an even bigger boat.
And another thing I can tell you, it's planning. I do have 2 more stories planned, and the third one is the end.
Okay. Are you familiar with there's an alternate comic called Blood Realm, and it is in black, white, and red?
Nope.
Okay, it's quite good. I'd recommend it. And obviously, all Alterna is quite cheap, but yeah, it's I think you'd dig it. It's very it's called Blood Realm.
Blood Realm.
Yep. So, anyways, cool. Well, best of luck closing out strong on Rage Golden Eagles channel. I think you could probably sell a few more books there.
He has what, 40,000 subscribers, so you'll do well there.
And all the backers have something to win, and me, I'm gonna have more award, because if we reach the 10K, every physical book backer gets a sketch card with their book.
Ooh.
Sweet.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
Sweet. Looking forward to that. So good luck.
Thank you.
All righty, man. The book is Bloodhunt. It's going to be up for just a few more hours. So don't miss it. I think you'll be by the looks of it.
In comics.
All right. Well, looks like a good story. If you're sick of all the
no more sparkly vampires.
Yes, no more. If you're sick of that crap, this is the book for you. Correct, Sim?
Yep. It's like a good old payback story, but with vampires.
Yeah.
So thanks for having me on, guys.
A Twilight free zone.
It's like I'm trying to bring back the badass vampires after they ruined them, and the SJWs also ruined the werewolves.
The SJWs looked at Sim and said, "We've screwed over vampires permanently," and Sim said, "Yeah, hold my beer." So.
Yeah.
All righty. Thank you for joining us. We're going to move on to CyborgUSA. Good luck on Raging Golden Eagle.
Thanks for having me.
I hope you really hit 10K. Heck, I hope you get to 15K, man. Good luck.
You know what? If I do get to 15K, I think I will put back the black and red and offer something extra.
Oh, sounds cool. Cool. Take care.
Have a good night. Thank you.
Right.
And nice to meet you, Jeremy.
Likewise, sir.
Okay, and I blanked out Jeremy there. Whoops, sorry about that, man. Well, he dropped off, and then yours shifted over, I guess.
Whatever, I don't care.
Whatever. All right, let's get on to
wait. Before we do that,
okay.
A friend gave me an idea for a story that I at some point may do. That's a vampire story, and it's that Dracula has been the Count Dracula, the original badass, Vlad the Impaler, right?
Oh yeah.
He comes back and sees all these sparkly vampires and energy vampires and whatever what you see these days in vampires, and he just tears the shit out of all of them. There you go.
I think that would be a very satisfying comic.
Yeah.
Sounds a tad thin on plot. You'd have to work on
I
that.
have to,
but how thick would the plot have to be when you're just, you're taking all the Twilight garbage and going, yeah.
I especially hate Twilight because it's based in Washington State. And then also 50 Shades of Grey, it was Twilight fanfic, and so that's also based here. And so there's like 6 ridiculously awful novels that are the best-selling novels associated with this state because of Twilight.
Yeah, well, I think you need to put together a hit list and get rid of some of these people. You can be the Washington Avenger. All righty, man. Shall we move on to CyborgUSA?
Yeah, we can do that.
I
got my copies here.
Okay. All righty. Let's move on.
I want to say something about the way these are packaged. They're really nice. There's a different you can use different kinds of even plastic. This is the fancy stuff. It's a really nice solid board. The printing of the comic is quite good. I mean, this is a solid comic.
Mm-hmm.
The
packaging was really good, and there was definitely some nice swag in there as well.
I'm holding it on the side, and I want to show you just how it's not moving much, right? This is a solid thing.
Yeah.
The way that it was printed, and that's a thing that really struck me. Like, they took some care there.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought I'd call that out for people.
Alrighty, let's move us back here. Hold on here, and we'll put this back. Alrighty, the cover is very interesting. I mean, I like this cover. We should mention the writer here is Rob Casey, and a guy who goes by the name of Zach Tobacco, which was interesting. Although it's Tobacco, TA instead of TO.
Okay, so he's like Zachy Tobacco.
Something. And Pablo Romero is the artist. Color artist is Lee.
Pablo is a very pretty good artist, very good artist. But focuses a lot on sort of cheesecake type art.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll see that occasionally through the series. And that is in no way a bad thing.
No, what this really gave me the vibe was this was like late 70s, early 80s Saturday morning cartoon vibe here. That's really what it looks like. I mean, this is something like this cover here looks like something that would be at the very end of like the introduction for something like, not Super Friends, but you would imagine, boom, and this would be, you'd see them all running forward and it splashed like this. So that's really the vibe that I got throughout reading it.
When you say retro comics, it covers a lot of ground.
Yeah.
There is a distinct genre that's starting to emerge that are 80s retro comics.
Yes.
And this is definitely fits in the genre of 80s retro comics.
It's also a very patriotic comic too.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's a part of the whole 80s thing.
Yeah.
Jason Meadows, his series also fits into the whole 80s retro thing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Of the two, I think I like his slightly better, but this had its moments.
Oh yeah. Alrighty. This is no candy. Be quiet. Alrighty. This is cover number 2. This is one of these robot. Robot. I don't even know what they're called because I don't remember him giving them a name in the comic.
Exterminate.
That's right, Exterminate. And so
is that it? I don't know. I was using that line from Doctor Who.
Do you want to come and sit on Daddy's lap for a minute? Okay. Alrighty. This is cover 2, but I like it. You're getting the view from whatever this exterminator thing is here. Okay, let's move to the opening page of issue 1. Pretty good splash page.
I'm going to call that a strong opening.
Pardon?
I'm going to call that a strong opening.
Yeah, no, it's nice. I mean, it sets them up. You know, they're gymnasts. You know that they are athletic, very athletic, right at the beginning. And this is Captain USA. Let's see. The African American gentleman is Rufus. Blonde is Tina. This guy here is Hutch, and I do not remember her name, and I wasn't able to quickly find it. But yeah, basically they are. There's a scene early on where they find this bomb, they kick it away, and it blows up, and everyone's fine. And then
they become heroes.
They become heroes, and they're on this train, and the enemies are known as the Red Skirts.
and they're absurd. They
yes.
really are. They're obviously they're commies, you know, but
yes.
they're absurd. Like if you look at what he says here on this page, it's pretty funny. Can you blow that up a little bit?
Yeah.
But scroll down to what the red skirt guy says, who's hijacking the thing. Hello, Mr. Conductor. My gun. And it goes bang. You know, like.
You want to go quick or try your luck?
Yeah, exactly.
Alrighty, and then this is basically this is a part of a double splash page, the head-on collision, and yeah, everyone basically gets it here. I mean, this guy, I admit there's a little bit of subtlety here. You do have to, you know, like for example, it took me a little while to realize, oh, his arm's been severed. Okay, you know, because it's just. The red coloring there of the blood actually obscures it a little bit. You have to, you know, you have to look at it a little bit to realize it. So there's more going on. Even though this is very Saturday, I think it's very Saturday cartoonish. There's more subtlety.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I don't know that the severed limb. I wouldn't call that Saturday cartoons.
Well, no, that's not. I'm just saying the art style, the general tone here. That's not, you know, Saturday cartoon. There's more. I don't know if you want to use the word subtlety, but there's more detail here than just, you know, that. This is the other half of the splash page. Yeah, this definitely not Saturday cartoon. Okay.
No.
And then basically they are rescued by a gentleman by the name of Hans Ehrlich. And let's see if he is. No, this is the Red Skirt, who is happy to their leader, kind of a mix of Rasputin and
Fu Manchu.
Fu Manchu sort of thing. And yeah, he's taking credit for you know, the murder of them.
I have killed them. Ha!
Yeah, they are surely dead. Ha! Death to USA. Death to, yeah. All righty. Then yeah, here they're all beginning to find out that they're cyborgs. This is Hans. Yeah, Hans Ehrlich. And
Jacob Dingelheimer Schmidt.
Yeah, there you go. And it's not entirely clear kind of what his angle is, what he's supposed to be doing here. Well, I mean, we know what he's doing. It's just that there's some question as to exactly what his motive is. And we don't find that out in either exactly in issue 1 or 2. We definitely have some questioning of it though. Here is they are on parade and they realize that the float is a bomb and they all jump off and escape. And yeah,
I think you should do that, by the way. If the float you're on is a bomb, you need to get off of that float.
In fact, this Tina, with her new powers, is able to figure out that the Red Skirt is here. Here he's firing a rocket grenade. Yeah. And, alrighty, what else? This is actually the final page of page 1 and of issue 1. Sorry. Yeah. Hutch gets Hutch gets a shot in the face and by the Red Skirt because basically they have let the media into the compound, into Ehrlich's compound here, and they have let one of the media sneaking in as part of the Red Skirt.
Well, yes. a red skirt came in under the cover of being a reporter or something.
Yeah, and this is kind of a good cliffhanger, you know. And I suppose you might. I don't know. I'd like to see it just a little more dramatic, him kind of flying back or something. But yeah, I don't know. It's you know, if you're talking kind of 1980s, early 80s vibe here, Saturday morning cartoon. Obviously, they wouldn't shoot anyone in the eye within a Saturday morning cartoon, but you know, it works. What do you think?
Yeah, it's the posing looks a little like I have two minds. It looks a little stiff. On the other hand, it is showing people reacting to what just happened there. You know,
Yeah,
like all eyes are on this, and I think that's the most important part. Is that it's drawing your. It's like almost like the Last Supper, where everything's drawing your attention to the focal point.
Very true. Okay. All righty. This is the opening, one of the openings. Yeah, basically, I think this was either page 2 or 3 of issue 2. And yeah, here's the and Tina basically decimates the red skirt, and
Yeah, she can't just see through things. She can, you know, she's got like disintegration vision or something.
A death ray coming out of
Death
her
ray, yes, death ray.
And they're going to be able to operate on Hutch. Here is, I think, coming up is what was one of my big problems with this. Really my main problem with this comic. And yeah, okay, this is cover 2. Yeah, all right. At times it comes off as disjointed. It actually isn't necessarily disjointed. But by disjointed, I mean that kind of you know, you would have something jumping from scene to scene, and you're not really understanding, you know, how you got from one scene to the next. There's not, you know, there's nothing linking. Okay, this guy clearly, you know, gets his arm cut off. This is his son. And then, you know, this next page, the son's underneath one of these, what were we calling them again? Whatever they were, these
exterminators.
Robots. Yes, exterminators. All right. Well, it's a little, where did these things come from? Oh, okay. Well, yeah,
on the compound. They're just
there.
She
says turn on their sentries, turn on the sentries and lock up the surveillance tapes. Okay. And, okay, so these are the sentries. She's ordered them out, and okay, but you have to, you know, you have to go back and forth. I had to a few times to figure out exactly where the sentries came from.
The comic is abrupt and jarring, and that's especially true in issue 2.
Yeah, it is, and again, you know, it's I don't have a problem with doing that once or twice because, you know, look, you are limited in the space you've got here.
Yeah,
I get it.
Comics are a lot of times about. I mean, if you actually start writing them, you know, and you actually have to navigate. You know, you have a very limited amount of space in which to tell your story, right? And just it's going to be somewhat jarring. Some element is not going to be as smooth as it would be as if you were going to do it with prose. That's just how it goes.
Yeah, it does, but it just happens. It happens a little too often.
Yes, I agree. I absolutely agree.
You just start. It's like, oh God, again, and you realize you're reading. You know, which, you know, you don't want the reader to realize they're reading. You want them to forget they're reading and just go ahead with the story. Okay, this was the other thing. I mean, later on, Hutch and again, this guy's, I think it's his dad. They're kind of sneaking around trying to figure out what Hans Ehrlich's motivation is, and you know, what are they only seeing the surface here? And then they run into this guy who was presumably the same guy. Yeah, the same guy from outside. Now his arm is back on.
You do see later on how it was joined.
Okay, but later on, you know, that they release it. These guys, Hutch and his dad, let him go, and Hans is like, God, you don't want that guy to do that. Well, fine. Why, if they were going to give him medical attention, why, and Hans knows this guy is a danger, why let him onto the compound to begin with?
Or why let him wander? I don't know.
Why let him do anything? Why, he can go get medical attention somewhere else. I mean, they can stabilize him. He lost an arm, bad, but they can stabilize him. You know, I understand wanting to do something good, but why have someone who's such a danger So again, and it's kind of this was kind of a disjointed part. It's
there's a lot of points in both the issues where you're like, why would you do that?
Yeah.
I mean, we could point to probably half a dozen times where that is the case. That's one of my big objections. You're like what's the blonde's name?
Tina.
Like she's just like carrying around a severed head.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, cool. That's normal. Just carry around a severed head. But why not?
And this is basically how issue 2 ends. I mean, this guy has gotten out, and somehow he's gotten control of the sentries here, and Killbots. All hail Cyberpunk. He's which is a good cliffhanger for, and that actually is a nice splash page for an ending. So he's I think with the purple going on here, you got a little SJ and the horns on the head, you got a little SJW going on there, and he's gotten control of the sentries, and so what's going to happen next? Good cliffhanger there. It's just like you said, there's too many disjointed parts, too many things that are abrupt, that too often knock the reader back. But on balance, I like the art, I like the 1980s vibe. Both the cliffhangers were certainly left you wanting more, and overall the story is good. I mean, it's just they're fighting.
I'm not as up on the story, like just the way that it doesn't hang together that as well as I wanted it to. Look, I don't regret having gotten these issues. I don't know if I'm going to get the follow-up. I'm really legitimately on the fence about it. I think the storytelling needs, could use some work. I think the art's quite good. I think that if I do get the other issue and a reasonable chance of that, it'll be because they put a lot of work into making this into something you want to hold in your hands. The art is pretty good. It's quite good. I do like the whole 80s retro throwback thing. That's fun. And I think that maybe they've learned some things from putting these issues together that would translate into a next issue being a little bit smoother. But I'm definitely on the fence on this one.
No, I'm not, but I can certainly understand why you are. I do want to see issue 3. I've liked the art. The cliffhangers are good. They both have left me wanting to see what comes next, and this does the same. I'm hoping with 3 it's a little, a lot less disjointed, a lot less abrupt, like we've been talking about. But I'm definitely going to purchase issue 3. I would say that initially when I read it, I was on the fence, and then as I went back and said, actually, the plot, even in those disjointed parts, it does make sense. You just have to read it a second time. That was enough for me.
Well, let me ask you this: do you care about what happens to any of these characters?
Yeah, I kind of do. I mean, I think
you had to hesitate though. Like
okay, yeah, that is true. The main characters, they haven't developed them enough, but you certainly do. They do have this kind of, you might say, kind of catchy optimism to them.
Sure.
And certainly Hans Ehrlich, I do care about what happens to him, because, and I'm certainly interested to see if he's got something going on. But to me, I mean, if he actually took this guy in here and to reattach his arm, he was doing something very benevolent. If that's the case, yeah, I actually do care about him. I do want to see what happens to him. So.
Yeah, and I could see that. You're saying that the Hans, the doctor guy is the most likable guy in the whole. That I could see that. But like when it comes to the cyborg team, I mean, you were saying earlier, like you couldn't even remember what one of the characters' names was. But partly just because.
Well, understand, I can never remember any of their names. Sure. I have to write them all down, and I forgot to write his down.
Sure. I'm just saying that, like, they're not that. I mean, some of them are more memorable than others. I don't think they did a good job of across the board developing the characters. Which of these characters? I understand you're interested in the, genius doctor guy, but any of these characters, which of them do
Well,
you say I want to know what happens to that person?
Well, Tina, I kind of do because
Okay.
you know she has that scene in there where she's looking at her face and thinks she's ugly, and the mom comes in and tries to give it some, you know, make it beautiful with the makeup. So
I think
you
she
know,
is the most.
there's definitely some vulnerability there.
I think she's the most well-developed character.
Yeah.
But also like they just do bizarre things like and look, I understand that.
But I'll say this: I think that scene when Rufus started laughing at her, if she had gotten kind of unhappy instead of going along with the laughter, you would care more.
There's that, because it would have been a more human reaction.
Yeah.
Just some of the things they do, like they're you know, like they come to and the doctor is like, you need to rest and I'll explain this in the morning, and they're like, oh, let's sneak out. You know, like, why?
Fair enough.
And then, you know, they get into a fight with the local cops, and I don't know, just some of the mechanics of why they do what they do. Now, I will say that they are all wrestling with all the changes that have happened in them, and you know, they're not going to make the smartest individually, and they're not going to make the smartest decisions. But you'd think as a group they might be like, oh, so let's not do that crazy thing that would be stupid right now.
Fair enough. All righty. Well, I'm under strict orders to get someone to bed around 8 p.m. and we are very close to that. So, at any rate, any final thoughts on this?
I really, you know, there's a lot about this comic that I liked. And what I really hope to see in issue 3, with I think I've talked myself into buying now, is you know, that I think there's a learning process that happens when you're doing comics, and I hope that you'll see with issue 3 that some of the things that we've highlighted here we can't highlight. I hope that when we look at issue 3, we're like, well, shit, it's just good. What do we say now?
Yeah. We say that.
Yeah.
All right, man. That's all for now. Thank you for everyone who stopped by, and yeah, we will be back next week with Carla Tornielli talking about Grim Reaper 2. Her husband might be here as well. Have not got that confirmed, but definitely Carla is scheduled to be here. So
very cool.
All righty, come on back next week, and thank you very much. Bye now.